You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's 4 wheels, 2 wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth. And check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
I told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quickest in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys. In the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money cause I came to multiply it. Push a 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm burning up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160, pass you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Popping champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never brake right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit a motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber.
so much to look forward to, including crowning our very first short course National Series world champion. First up, it's the three-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. Barry getting quite comfortable in victory lane. First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series. Take a bow, Drake Mittag. Matt Adams is winner 22. He does it in the signature Propellers Long Beach Surfside Showdown. Keaton Swain not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish.
He finally got it. Swain, pop the champagne, baby.
And while Luke Knupp's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet. Her first win in the National Series through Calamity Corner. Crystal King gets it done. Ready to bring the thunder once again here in the world of iRacing Short Course. But for the first time, let's break out the Pro 2s in 2025 for the iRacing Short Course Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. Hi folks, welcome along to the Firebird Motorsports Park, our junior Kanky party alongside of the voice of off-road, Dave Arnold, as we dive into a short but sweet 5-round season. And Dave, it's been a while since we've been able to share the booth, but I am so excited about this. How excited are you about the Pro 2s out on track?
Well, you know what? You always love the Pro 2s. I mean, Pro 4s, you know, you got four wheels pulling you around, but you got to have the finesse, the style, and the grit and fortitude in a Pro 2 to throw that thing around because, you know, it's all about tossing it into the turn and hope you make it. I love that.
And while we saw plenty of action across the Pro 4 National Series, we have some new faces joining us in the Pro 2 National Series, all as the drivers try and wind themselves up to become the very first short course World Cup champion later on this year. I mentioned a 5-round schedule, but here's a look at where we're visiting as we keep busy through the month of October. It's Firebird to kick things off before a trip to the rolling Bark River International Raceway. A road trip round sees us head upstate to Watkins Glen before Wild West and Crandon bookend the season. And Dave, with a new format that we'll dive into in a couple of minutes' time, I think most importantly, when I look at the schedule, it's Watkins Glen, the oddball round. We saw Matt Adams win on the streets of Long Beach in the Pro 4. Watkins Glen will be wild.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when I saw Watkins Glen, I immediately thought, okay, Long Beach, now Watkins Glen, now we're talking, man. What a beautiful scenic track that is. And boy, we had Pro 4s when we were at Long Beach. Now I'm curious to see what a Pro 2 can do on the streets, or I should say on the tarmac of Watkins Glen. That's going to be interesting. And man, I am so excited for that.
Now, I'm curious what layout of Watkins Glen we're using, because that could also be interesting. Do we take the chicane? Do we ignore it? But that's something to talk about in 2 weeks' time as we get our way there. I briefly touched on a change of format, so let's quickly talk about that. If you watch the Pro 4 National Series, we had qualifying, heat races, LCQs before the main event. Here, slightly differently. We'll still have qualifying, but the top 16, I believe it is, directly advanced to the main event. 2 LCQs before 2 main events, all to try and get us to the same points total, Dave, as we had across of all the rounds in the Pro 4 National Series.
Well, I'll tell you, that's going to make these guys try a lot harder. You got to be smooth. You got to be good. You got to qualify well, because if you're going to go to the main event, man, you're going to have to fight your way there.
And we will have inverts, which keeps things interesting. I believe we'll still have those competition cautions as well. And so I think starts and restarts, Dave, especially with these two-wheel trucks, is going to be so crucial.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, we've seen Pro 2s and Pro 4s, you know, race against each other, you know, in real life, and you could really see Pro 2s, they tend to have, you know, I think they're a little bit quicker in the straightaways, but when you go into the corners, you just don't have those speeds. So Pro 2s, they got to kind of tiptoe through there, because that front end's not biting. It's not bringing you around. You got to point it, and you got to use that throttle. You got to feather that thing. So it's a lot more finesse driving a Pro 2 than a Pro 4 for sure.
I know that Josh Edmondson prefers the Pro 2s. You go back in the history of the Pro 2 National Series, 5 races, 3 race winners, Connor Barry, Luke Knupp, and Zachary Drapkin. I'm not surprised by those three names being at the top of the board. But Dave, are we expecting Connor to have the same sort of dominance that we saw him have on his way to the championship earlier this year in that Pro 4 National Series? If I remember correctly, 5 out of the 10 races saw him head to victory lane.
Yeah, that's going to be a good question there. I mean, these Pro 2s is a wholly different style, but let me back it up here because he is a pro light driver in real life. He knows how to do that. That is a two-wheel drive machine. I think that's going to benefit him or any other drivers that do it in real life. So putting your mindset in there, and I know you talked about Josh Edmondson. He's a moto guy. You know, you only got a back wheel going. So I think that's why probably in his head, you know, he's always been a little bit better on that. It's a whole other thing when you're trying to get that Pro 4 rotator around. Pro 2, you got to be smooth like you're on a dirt bike. Pro light, same thing. Pro 2, just a lot more horsepower.
One other name to talk about, as that is Mr. Edmondson in virtual reality, making sure he's got the hat placement directly for us on the camera. One other name to shout out, Keaton Swain, not just coming off his first victory in a while in the Pro 4 National Series, but the 3-time iRacing Short Course World Cup champion in the Pro 2s. And momentum on his side, Dave, after grabbing that win earlier this year.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Keaton Swain, and it was a dry spell. I know he got tired of us talking about it. He got the monkey off his back, but in real life, he's raced, you know, buggies. He's raced the Pro Light. So he's, you know, very, you know, used to having thrown a Pro 2 or at least a two-wheel drive around a track. And some of the real-life drivers have real-life experience at Firebird as well as in the Sims. And I know, you know, the Sims are so close. And this ain't no video game, baby. This is a true race simulator. This is like real life when it comes to it, except for the budget's a lot lower.
Oh, yeah. We were just joking about that before we went on air. What the age-old adage, how do you become a millionaire, be a billionaire, and go racing?
Racing.
Let's talk about the track itself, because we start with the bull ring, which I think with some of the edicts laid down by race control, they've been very clear about the expectations, especially on the starts, which we touched on earlier, Dave. It really does invite chaos and for enemies and friends to be made early in this short season.
Yeah, and this thing, you know, with 4 turns, you know, mostly right-handers, you got one left after coming around right off the ski jump. So, you know, we always see, you know, definitely, you know, turn 1's always exciting. But when they go in that first lap and they're going in turn 2 and everybody's diving for that inside, wanting to come out there, because when you get set up, you got to be set up for that right-hander. It's so important to set and establish yourself out there. If you're in the back, you're going to have a struggle. And that's why I think you're going to see a little bit of bashing. But these drivers, they know how to stay clean. We saw them in the Pro 4 staying clean. I predict they're going to try and do the same in the Pro 2s.
I certainly hope they'll try. We'll see how successful they are. I think we're underway with qualifying. So as times begin to trickle on in, Cody Winicki, who was a star in many ways, breaking through in the Pro 4s earlier this year, he finished 6th in the championship. He's currently top of the board. It was only, I think, 700ths then back to Josh Edmondson as we watch Keaton Swain throw the car into turn 2.
Yeah, you can see how a lot, you know, slower that when you talked about turn 2 and it's a little bit slower rotation. They're out there setting that front end, you're getting off the gas, you're feathering the throttle, and you're trying to get traction. Because you only got 2 wheels giving you traction, not 4 anymore. And I'm going to keep saying that because people don't realize it is a big difference driving a Pro 2. You're right, you're basically racing a squirrel out there.
Always chasing it is kind of what I'm getting from you. Connor Barry has put himself at the top. Keaton Swain, would you believe it? 6,000 slower. That is a blink of an eye. And Drake Mittag is only 500 off of pole position right now. Razor thin margins in qualifying.
Yeah, and of course, his brother, Doug Mittag, was a very well-known, you know, driver in the Pro 2s. He's driven Pro 4s and all that. And I'm sure, you know, Doug's probably put some wisdom into that young man. Plus, with the family building those trucks in real life, you know, I think that's a good insight.
I think you can learn a lot about what you want the truck to do. That looked like for Daniel Mamade, the front end just sat into the ground as he went over the jump. Remember, you very much need to be aware of the attitude of the car mid-flight as he crosses the line with a 37.8. So that will see him slide his way to 29th. Crystal King has jumped to 8th, but we've still got 6 minutes left. And Dave, what we often see is drivers go out early, wait, and then use their final run at the very end of the session.
Well, yeah, they kind of want to see what everybody else is doing out there. It's like, all right, I'm in this position, okay. And they're watching the other drivers. I mean, they're seeing where they're going, seeing where the mistakes are made, and it's so important. I mean, one thing you know about these Pro 2s, it's when they're coming around, you know, when you get a big sweeper, you can pretty much stand the gas, but when you're going in the corners, you got to unload it a little bit, put some weight on that front end, get those tires to bite before you get back on that gas, because you got to get those, you know, that truck to rotate, but you also don't want that front end pretty much pushing.
Here comes Anthony James working his way to the line. That was a bit wild with the rear end as he crosses towards the final corner. 36.956 does not see him improve. His best lap so far, a 35.9. I have noted Keaton Swain has now jumped in front of Connor Barry. 31 thousandths the gap now between the two.
And pretty much who we thought was going to be up there quite close is sitting up right now in the top 5. Zach Drapkin, a pro buggy racer, you know, he's got a lot of experience in a two-wheel drive, but he doesn't have a cutting brake in a Pro 2 like they do in the pro buggies, which is a big difference. It's learning weight transfer, I think, is important.
The one thing I'm only slightly disappointed about is we don't get Pro 2s and Pro 4s at the very same time, which is one of the coolest parts of Crandon in the real world. Tyson Miller, the Terminator, he's up to 4th, and we have only got about 3/10 covering the top 10 as they stand. Here comes Zachary Drapkin, who's in the virtual off-season, been racing in the real world. That's a very aggressive line, and now trying to get the power down just to the rear 2 wheels, remember, up and in the air, looking to try and better a 35.406. It's a 35.551.
And you're going to notice in the Pro 4s, they're running those things, they're staying on the gas because they've got 4 wheels biting, and they were running up on the wall. Here, you're not seeing that. Totally different.
They're still doing that same thing out of turn 1, I will say, ramping off on the outside. But outside of that, it does not look very similar by any means. No improvement for Drake Mittag. In fact, never mind. He did improve in time, not in position. Connor Barry is out there for what will be his final flying lap. Although no improvement from him as well. Here comes Cody Winicki, and I was mentioning earlier, very much broke through earlier this year in the Pro 4s. That's not a great line through the final corner, though.
Yeah, you can see he just hit that big bump, too. It kind of unsettled the truck. Didn't get a good, I guess, traction out of that corner.
And see the Hot Wheels collection off on the right-hand side. That's pretty cool. Josh Edmondson now up to 6th. This is a close qualifying session. And remember, I think it's top 16 will advance directly to the main event. So we're really looking at the cutoff line where Dennis Mickelson has got 1,000th of a second over Robbie Swan. Now, neither of them have a chance to improve. I believe the only drivers that could jump their way in could be Raymond Baudouin, Emma Flynn, and I'm not sure if Nicholas Dachelet is not setting a qualifying time intentionally, but he has not headed out onto track at all yet as we watch Luke Knupp on his final lap in this session.
And there's another young driver, you know, that preps trucks and races trucks, and he's a former champion. He knows how to get it done too. And I'd never take anything away from Luke. He is just a fast driver. He's smart and he's technical.
And I think he will be thinking back to earlier this year and just a sluggish start at times. A couple of unlucky moments. He could have very well been fighting with Connor all the way to the very end. But this is not the way he would have wanted the qualifying session to go, because he's down in 13th position right now.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Nicholas Dachelet still. I mean, I'm just kind of blown away not seeing him out there. He's always got a good run.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get word on that if I can. I'll send him a message in Discord. The joys of being in the virtual booth. Sean Winkler crosses the line, 35.553. That's a 10th of a second off for him as he, I think, now has what? No, never mind. He's just doing some practice laps out there right now, which I guess does make sense. You want an opportunity to feel the track state, Dave, and this is the perfect time to do that.
And that's one thing about this is they take that into effect that the track deteriorates. It's not prepped a certain way or another way. It changes. Weather, everything now affects this.
So for those of you watching on the iRacing Short Course YouTube channel, welcome along to the action at the Firebird Motorsports Park. You're watching qualifying as we get underway for the Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. Currently atop the timesheets, it's Keaton Swain by 59 thousandths of a second. Connor Barry sat in second, but the action to come. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back at Firebird Motorsports Park.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's four wheels, two wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing, to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth. And check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
I told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quickest in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money, cause I came to multiply it. Put your 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm running up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160 past you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Popping champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never break right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit the motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team Real, Team Real. Real scared money don't make no money. It's Team Real, Team Real. Hit the motor rumble and the tires burning from the rubber.
so much to look forward to, including crowning our very first short course National Series World Champion. First up, it's the three-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. Barry getting quite comfortable in victory lane.
First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series. Take a bow, Drake Mittag. Matt Adams is winner 22. He does it in the signature Propellers Long Beach Surfside Showdown. Keaton Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish.
He finally got it. Swain, pop the champagne, baby.
And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet.
Her first win in the National Series through Calamity Corner. Crystal King gets it done.
Oops. Hello. Turn the sound off.
Welcome along to the iRacing Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. We are racing for the first of two LCQs as Robbie Swan leads the field up to turn number 2. Arjuna Kankipati alongside the voice of off-road Dave Arnold as they bang doors. Fiberglass goes flying here at the bull ring that is the Firebird Motorsports Park. Straight into the action, Dave, and the fight brews for the transfer positions as they work into the final corner.
Well, I would have loved to see that first turn there, but I'll tell you, it looks good right now as they come around. Robbie Swan is just taking off on this one. A new driver, not used to seeing, and you got TJ Staver also. Some new names we got out here, and I'll tell you, they're surprising us already.
I think I counted 23 or 24 of the 40 drivers were with us for the Pro 4s, but that still leaves a good 18 new names and faces for us to become familiar with. It's an 8-lap race and 2 of these LCQs to boot as well, and it might now start to become a fight for third on back as there's a bit of contact and Gavin Plummer almost gets sent around by Cody Vanderveer, but this is dropping them off the top 2. Swan and Staver starting to pull away.
And Vanderveer looked like he's going up the inside now. Plummer trying to take that into turn number 1, side-by-side action there. And if he's, got a little bit sideways there. It looks like Adam McAfee was able to take a position, and now he's backwards. So you can see that Vanderveer now is gone all the way back to the field.
That's definitely not how he wanted to kick off the season. There is no chance after this LCQ to fight your way back in. It is do or die for these drivers. There's different lines being rung, not just here between Swan and Staver, but between Plummer and McAfee as well. There's a bit more issues behind for Matt Lasso. Now will slip behind Vanderveer, but almost halfway through the first race of the season.
You can really see that, coming out of turn number 1 as they head up again to turn number 2. Not running up the wall. You can see right now Vanderveer going around, does the 180, backs it in, and says, well, my day's done.
Yeah, it just looked like weight transfer going all sorts of wrong as Batman gets to work on Plummer. Garrett Moore closing from behind as well. Ooh, that's a bit of hop, skip, and a jump as they work through the final corner. Moore is going to close. Plummer's left to try and fend off this advance as they make a bit of contact down towards turn 1. McAfee on the inside, not going to get the momentum to turn 2.
Yeah, definitely fighting there. Great to see Batman back again. I always got to love that thing out there. His own version of the Batmobile. It's off-road version.
We just need to see if on his webcam he's still got the Batman behind him, or if he's updated which version of Batman it is.
Oh, that's are we going to go back to the 60s Batman? I want to see that one come back.
If he's got the collection, that would be cool. We saw the Hot Wheels. Oh, there he is. Batman is watching us.
I'm Batman.
Oh, we'll be careful not to get McAfee upset. Riding in virtual reality, you are right. They are not riding all the way up to the wall as we saw them doing in qualifying. It'll be interesting once we get into the first of our 2 main events. Let's not forget a new format for this Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. If you will see drivers going for that, or if they're just being a bit more tentative here and not wanting to open any opportunities up for those behind.
I think you're right on that. They're being a little bit more tentative on going into turn number 1 there. You leave that bottom inside there. With the Pro 2s, if you take it up too much to the wall, you're going to scrub some speed off too if you hit that wall.
And with the loss of momentum, I think you saw with Van der Veer earlier, he was just starting to feel the pressure, and the pressure has ended up is what ended up breaking as penultimate lap of the race. Top two scampered away as they fly their way across the line. You can see the green line on the left-hand side indicating the top two move forward, and that's exactly what Swan and Staver were hoping for, to see the fights behind and for them to break away onto the final lap of LCQ1.
Yeah, Plummer, is just below that line right now, the cutoff, and you can see the gap that they have. It's just basically it's saying, hey, I got who's going to get third at this point. The battle between McAfee and Plummer. Plummer has got a good lines going. You see McAfee, you can really see those Pro 2s. They're moving around a lot. They're not tracking as straight, and you can really see the race line developing now too.
And that's going to be a talking point as we cycle through into the second LCQ, albeit we've got a fight at the front of the field. TJ Staver through the final corner. It's a photo finish. It's thousands between the two of them, but it does swap around and Staver grabs the victory, but Swan moves forward as well.
Yeah, it's going to benefit them definitely going into the main event in their position, of course. If you're in the back of the pack, you want every position you can get.
So Staver and Swan, 26 thousandths between the two of them, but a big gap back to Plummer and McAfee, whose battle saw them drop themselves out of contention. Garrett Moore, Christian Noble, Joel Ulrich, Emma Valentine Flynn, and Cody Van der Veer, along with Matt last finish. We didn't see Nicholas Dachelet end up taking to the starting grid. But let's take a look at the starting grid for the second of our LCQs. Joey Herbie and Taylor Vandenbush start at the front, but in the hot seat with Anthony James and David Weingarten are putting the pressure on behind. Trevor Teal and John Obinger share row 3, while 7th goes the way of Ray Boudwine. Solomon Borschinger will be to his outside, with Daniel Mamed, Aidan Irvine, and Fouad Boran rounding out the 11 trucks in this second of our LCQs.
Yeah, a couple of the two drivers I'm real surprised there, especially Irvin being there and having to go to the LCQs. He's always been a solid driver out there qualifying, fighting his way up there. This makes it a little bit difficult, but you know what? That's the way real life racing is. Qualifying, make it to the main event, or otherwise you're watching from the grandstands with us.
And I think the last thing you want to do in what is a short season like this is start off without an appearance in a pair of main events. It's double points effectively for the entirety of the season day, which does mean that I think, especially for any drivers who missed the Pro 4 National Series, who want a chance of qualifying for the World Cups later this year, they will either need a victory, that would be the easiest path to lock themselves into the playoff, or they're going to need consistent points finishes throughout the five events, 10 races.
And that's a long season, I'll tell you. That is quite a bit of racing to go, especially if you're fighting for points towards the end. It's a doubleheader, basically.
Yeah, I'm going to pack it all into the month of October as well. So these drivers will not get a breath as they pull away and get ready to go. Remember, top two will move on forward, and so if we do start to see the gap build between second and those behind, expect first and second to work together and not put each other under too much pressure. I'm still a bit surprised that we saw a pass for the lead on the final lap of the LCQ.
Yeah, that was a good battle going all the way, and it came down to how you're setting up in that last turn coming off there, the inside, outside, scrubbing too much speed off, and it looked like, he was able to get by him. It was amazing.
TJ Staver getting it done. Robbie Swan just not able out of the final corner to find the right line, which with these two-wheel trucks is a lot more important than when we were putting 900 horsepower through all 4 corners of the truck. The Gecko watches over us as we get ready to go for LCQ2. Herbie in control of the field. And when does he jump the throttle in the boozy jerky machine? We are underway already. Going to see a challenge for second potentially as Vandenbush actually leans on the quarter panel of the race leader. Plenty of contact further behind as they work up to turn 2.
Yeah, a couple of drivers you can see right now we're on with, looks like John Nosinger. Great vision there of him, driving that car. I've seen a lot more drivers I've noticed when we've seen her doing the virtual reality.
Absolutely, especially here in the close quarters racing, close confines of the trucks as well. Trevor Teal has to duck and weave to avoid running into Anthony James, and then cuts back down low and sweeps his way on through. He's now a second and a half behind the top two, who have already built up their gap, and slide job city into turn one as Anthony James loses another spot.
And you can see a couple of the drivers that did go up against that wall. You can see that was a problem. Lost a little bit of ground there. Because it looks like, I'm kind of surprised to see a 199 sponsored driver that's going through the LCQ. Usually they're the top tier. When you make that theme, you know you're good.
Well, Trevor did send me a message about 30 minutes ago and said his one goal was just not be last. So I think that tells you the expectations he has for himself, as I think Solomon Burshinger's had an issue. He's dropped to the back of the 10-car LCQ, and that's in front of the mid-pack. Anthony James gets stuck on his side, spun around across the start-finish line, and has to take the tow to pit lane.
Yeah, that's one thing we mentioned earlier. You talked about chasing your, tail, or back on board again with Trevor Teal, but you can really see how squirrely these are. If you're on that gas going off that jump, you can see these trucks just want to walk to one side. They just want to kind of walk away from you. You got to know how to, burp that throttle over the jumps. They're a little bit, Pro 4, you just hammer those suckers down.
This looks difficult, but in the way you want it to be. It challenges the drivers to get the most out of it. And I'm guessing on some degree as well, there's plenty of setup work to make these trucks more comfortable to drive than their Pro 4 counterparts. We're watching a fight for 6th position, but all this as Joey Herbie and Taylor Vandenbush, almost halfway through the second LCQ, have pulled themselves good to a 2-second lead.
Yeah, that's a good lead that you want to have right now. But you're talking about the setup. I think, setting up the suspension is the biggest key in a Pro 2 out there. Getting that front end to bite, but yet still the truck's still going to perform in the other ways and other corners.
Another look on board as Ray doesn't get the line across the jump as he would have wanted to. Compromises him a bit through turn one, ramps himself off the outside cushion that you have there. Have to be careful to turn two. Race control very clear on the rules of engagement. No slide jobs that are going to result in unnecessary contact, which I think is the right way to phrase it, because this is a contact sort of motorsport, but there are still limits to what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, side to side, hey, that's what you want. You want to bang a little bit, but when you're going around and you're basically doing a pit maneuver on somebody and changing the attitude of the truck, that's just no bueno, as I like to say.
And race control are pretty clear in the messaging. If you do throw slide jobs, expect a 1-week suspension. Again, 5-round championship. That would be brutal. Front of the field, we'll have 2 laps to go at the line, and once more it will be a fight all the way to the end as Taylor Vandenbush sends it through the final corner and bullies his way to the lead.
And that's what he wanted to do right there. As we got 6 laps down, now we're starting the 7th lap, so our 6th lap right now, I do believe we're going to be on the white flag.
Next time by, final lap of the race. Vandenbush is cleared through turn 1. Outside line saw him carry the momentum. And can Joey Herbie try and fight his way back? Really all they're fighting for is which grid position they will be starting in the first of our main events, but they'll be starting toward the back anyway. You wouldn't expect them to necessarily be fighting for very much, but clearly Vandenbush has got the pace. 1 more lap to go. White flag waves.
Yeah, you can really see the setup on these turns, how these drivers are taking a little bit different. And, you want to file somebody's line, but you're never going to pass them. You got to work for your own lines there. See them really trying to rotate these things in the air, getting them set up there. They're keeping it right within the race line, as we like to call the preferred line there. You can almost see how they scrub the wheel one way and then kind of, a little bit of a Scandinavian scrub. It's kind of like rally racing. You want to get that truck to get that rear end to rotate around to hook up.
And doing a great job at the front of the field. Taylor Vandenbush grabs the win in LCQ2. He'll advance alongside of Joey Herbie, and we'll say goodnight to the remaining 8 drivers in the second LCQ. Still some racing all the way to the end as Fouad Baran's under pressure. There's some door-to-door contact through the final quarter. The jumps really unsettling both of the machines, and Baran will hold on, although it might be a drag race to the line. Did they switch around? No. Fouad Baran gets it, I think.
Yeah, Fouad, and then a little bit of contact afterwards, but that's not going to be a factor.
does look they changed around, actually. So Daniel Mamade is credited with 8th position, but that's, again, neither here nor there. They both end the night after LCQ2. It's Vandenbush and Herbie that move on forward. And now we get our chance to get ready to go for the first of 2 main events. Going to be an interesting situation, I think, to see how the drivers who have been waiting since qualifying wrapped up use this 3-minute warm-up session they have, Dave, to roll out onto track and see how the track has been developing.
And of course, you can see there's no changes to the track whatsoever. What they qualified on, what the LCQs went on, and what they're going to race on. You know, that track is going to slowly deteriorate. The marbles start to build up on the outside. You don't want to be running a Pro 2 in the marbles.
How big are the marbles from these sort of tires? I've seen, you know, marbles of endurance racing tires, but I can only imagine the size of these ones.
I mean, you got, you know, some of that dirt will roll up in the rubber too. So really, they just kind of hold they're like hard dirt snowballs. Some of them, you know, a little bit smaller, but you know, these guys, you can definitely see when their rear end comes around, and all of a sudden it just keeps going around, and it keeps coming around.
There's Crystal King, who grabbed the win in the final round of the Pro 4 National Series. Her first win in the National Series as well, coming from the background of being a regional series champion. We've seen Crystal compete at the front on many a time, but she put it all together to grab the win in the final round of the Pro 4 National Series. Excited to see what she can do now, locked into the World Cup later this year.
She's a driver I'd like to see go to the real world. I mean, she really has some talent. I think she'd definitely do well.
That would be really interesting, especially given the whole number of names that have raced in the Champ Off-Road Series in the last handful of weeks. I think most significantly of all, though, is our defending Pro 4 National Series champion, Connor Barry, who swept Glen Helen last weekend, which was his hometown race.
Oh, yeah, definitely was impressive. Brody Engelson on Friday night gave him a good run for his money. He was about the only one that came close to it. There was a couple drivers that were in contention for the championship. Johnny Holcher was one of them. But Johnny on Saturday, he was trying to give a little business to Connor, but Connor was unstoppable. He was in his groove, I'll tell you. I think the most exciting thing, though, is we had Ken Roxon racing with us in a Pro 2.
You'll have to excuse my ignorance, but that's not a name I recognize.
Ken Roxon is an SMX Supercross, racer, outdoor motocross, and a very big name in that world.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, he brought a lot of fans out to see just him. We had standing room only in the grandstands, I think down at the fence line. It was about 4 or 5 deep. It was absolutely insane on Saturday night.
Wow. Sounds like fun. I need to get out to a Champ Off-Road event sooner rather than later, especially given all the fun that we have here in the booth.
We got to get you to Fall Crandon. That's what we're talking about. Okay, we got the lineup.
Crandon will be fun, but we've got 2x2 instead of 10 wide here to kick off the season. And the inverted top 4 will see Tyson Miller grab pole position and leading us to the green. Drake Mittag alongside, hoping to back up his victory from the Pro 4 National Series, while our champ, Connor Barry, is inside of Keaton Swain, fastest of all when the pressure was on in qualifying. Cody Winnicki's 5th. He's got Josh Edmondson to his outside in the track racer Channel 199 machine. Crystal King in the traditional Shenandoah Shine colors for Factory Sim Sport has got Zachary Drapkin to her outside. Matthew Lindy, Sean Winkler, 2 names that did impress us in the Pro 4s, qualifying inside of the top 10 with Scott Marek, a new name in the world in the National Series this year, alongside of Thad Countryman. Luke Knupp back in the pack in 13th spot. He's got Rick Husman to his outside on row 7. Trenton Browley and Dennis Mickelson make up row number 8, with TJ Staver and Taylor Vandenbush, the first of the drivers, moving their way forward from the LCQs, joining Robbie Swan and Joey Herbie. Ignore the rest of the names, I'm pretty sure. I don't think those drivers are going to be out there and racing. I just don't think they've been disqualified from the session just yet. It should just be the 20 trucks for 26 laps of racing when we get underway.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I had a chance to run into a couple of the drivers out there at Glen Helen this last weekend, and Trenton Briley was one of them, and young Rick Huseman. So great to see him and his mom, Michelle. Of course, his dad was one of the greatest Pro 4 drivers of all time, you know, the likes of Kyle LeDuc, so Carl Rennesener, all those great names. And so great to have Rick and see him progress. And I'll tell you, Trent Briley, though, was one heck of a driver back in the day, too. He used to race the super lights with us.
Just trying to flick through the rule book to see if I missed anything, but I think I might have missed one thing. I don't think we have competition cautions midway through this race, which slightly different complexion to the main events that we had in the Pro 4 National Series.
I'm on the fence on that one. I really like the comp caution because it really brings the second half of racing really exciting. It brings new strategies into play. You have to really think, not just go out there and drive. But okay, I was out leading. Now I'm going to have all these hungry dogs in the back. Yeah, Scott. Love it.
All the analysis gets thrown out the window. We are focused in on Scott Marek, who, I mean, that is resplendent. That is the best costume I have ever seen in sim racing.
Yeah, Halloween's coming up. Now, we have a driver by the name of Matt Brister, and they call him the Monkey. And he was, he'd have these monkey hats, and he never had the full costume. I'm going to have to tell him he's got to get that. He's got to take a page from Scott's book right now. That is classic.
Yeah, and he's just waved because he's realized he's on the broadcast. Thank you, Scott, for making my night.
The smile on my face and your face, I'm sure, are matched.
It matches the smile on his face now as well, yeah. And he's gotten a lot redder than he was a couple of moments ago. It's a good thing I'm not a lawyer, by the way, because thank you to Race Control for correcting me. We do have a comp caution. I could not read the rules properly. End of lap 12, so don't worry. We haven't changed everything about these main events.
Arjuna, remember, reading is fundamental.
And as I sometimes say to the drivers in the series that I run, ignorance is not an excuse. Which means I've got no excuse. Anyway, we are moments away from kicking off the first of 10 races in these Pro 2 trucks. A field that seems pretty competitive. Luke Knupp being buried back in 13th to me, Dave, is one of the major storylines to open up the season.
Yeah, definitely get out the boxing gloves at this point. Boy, it's going to be a fight all the way up. You know, I'll tell you, Luke is good at picking off people. He's patient, but we got a lot of laps here, so he's going to have some time. The comp caution is going to come into play for a lot of these drivers tonight.
And so it's just survive the start and survive the restart. We've talked a bit about that. Quick shout out as well to our partners supporting everything in the world of the iRacing National Series. Boozy Jerky, head to their website to use the code iRacing Short Course for 15% off. And Mark 1 Sim Racing, use the code IRSC5 for 5% off. 5 electric rounds of racing in the month of October in this Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. The Terminator Tyson Miller in control of the field as we get the racing underway from the Firebird Motorsports Park, and Connor Barry instantly puts the pressure onto Drake Mittag as they sweep through turn 1 but ramp off the wall in this main event, and Keaton Swain has passed the champ. He gets all sort of cattywampus though on the entry to turn 2 and then drives around the outside of the champ into turn 3.
And Tyson Miller, though, has definitely got a lot of footsteps behind him. Drake Mittag definitely on him. Keaton Swain looking low as he comes around. But Connor Barry looking to the inside right now is Swain. He's going to go right to the inside. Swain's going to have the momentum as they come across up the stripe for the first time.
Issue for Cody Winnicki, issue for Taylor Vandenbush, but everyone else cycles through cleanly as onto the second lap of the race. Remember, comp caution at the end of lap 12. And Barry will never look like he's feeling the pressure, but for the first time in 2025, we're seeing a very different sort of race right now. No one feeling the aura of the multi-time champ, Connor Barry.
And, you know, Connor's always been calm, very smooth when you see him in the Pro 4, but now you see him in the Pro 2. You don't see him saw the wheel like you do, you know, in the Pro 2 is a lot different than the Pro 4. You're working a lot more and a lot harder to drive these things.
And he's losing ground to those in front. 7/10 now the gap. His teammate Josh Edmondson is behind, which is somewhat helpful. Zachary Drapkin, Matthew Lindy, Sean Winkler, Scott Marek, and Crystal King, the rest of your top 10. And so it's very much three at the front. Swain trying to put the pressure on to Drake Mittag. Tyson Miller looking very good at the front of the field in the Factory Sim Sports number 90.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of gap back from Josh Edmondson, Zach Drapkin, another one of our good drivers that always does well in the Pro 4 series. He's used to driving a Pro 2, a two-wheel drive, but it's usually a buggy. A lot different style of racing, but I'll tell you, that kid, or young man, I should say, adapts well.
Matthew Lindy's up to 7th. He's got Sean Winkler up his inside all as Scott Marek tries to fight his way back. Bit of a shove to the tail end of Winkler, almost riding the rear end on the landing off the jump. That looked a little bit uncomfortable, but they all make it work. And this is where the big gap has built up. They're now a full 2 seconds off the tail end of your top 6. And all this fighting, that's where the comp caution comes on in. These drivers trying to make up some track position. Joey Herbie is +7 after starting at the tail end of the field. End of lap 12, the field closes up.
Yeah, definitely some good battles going on there. You can see right now that's Crystal King, the Shenandoah Shine Machine. She's holding off. She in 10th place right now, holding off that Countryman. Countryman really looking for a way around, but she's just keeping that thing about 10 feet wide.
And again, because they don't have the four-wheel drive to pull them off the corner, they are having to be a lot more intentional with every move that they make. The top 3 close up once again as they head up to turn 2. Set the car up before you jump to make sure you're already rotated. Keaton Swain's rotated a bit too much, and has he had a big incident? Has he kept him on the straight and narrow? He's dropped behind Connor Barry, but he's still out there in the fight.
Yeah, he definitely got pushed out. He goes a little wide there, gets in the marbles, able to find that traction there as he's going to try and fight his way back up again. Not something we're used to seeing Keaton make a mistake, but that K-rail has bitten the best out of turn 2.
And that's, I think, just something that you would never have seen in the Pro 4s, that sort of a mistake. Does he get latched onto the back of Mittag, and does that rotate him a little bit more? He gets very, very lucky, though.
Yeah, it looks like that rear end just came around on him. These rear ends, it's not a limited slip differential there where you get on the gas. If you don't get off it, it's going to come right around and pass you, as we saw.
As we saw, Drake Mittag now puts the pressure on to Tyson Miller to turn 1. That's close on the jump. They make contact through the long sweeping opening corner as well, and there was a change. Now that was all within the rules of engagement. That was very, very much within what you want to see.
No, it's exactly. That was textbook right there. Now you can see Connor Barry starting to smell a little blood in the water as he saw Tyson made a mistake there with Drake getting a bye. Now Connor's just he sits back, buys his time. He's a very calculated driver.
Whoa! Commentator's curse strikes, and the champ goes around, somehow stays on all 4 wheels, but he will drop outside of the top 10, will he? Slides in front of Scott Marek. He still holds 8th. Comp caution in 4 laps time.
And you can look how calm he is. He didn't even overreact. He's not getting angry with himself. He just caught that K-rail, and it just popped him right up there, pirouetted around, and back on the move again, back into race mode.
Now, he has been given a black flag by iRacing, I would suspect, for quote-unquote unsafely entering pit lane. I am not sure what that will mean. We will find out at the end of this race, but that is not how Barry was hoping to start the season off, as he now actually has to come into pit lane to serve that penalty. So he's going to drop all the way down to the tail end of the field, and we are going to have to see if Barry can drive his way back to the front after the comp caution.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in Pro 2, anything...
Whoa!
And another one around. A little contact, a little bump from the rear, brought him right back around. It looks like Countryman still moving forward there after that contact.
It was Robbie Swan that ended up going around as we watch the action to turn 2. Barry is back out on track in 19th position. Cody Winicki is experiencing some technical issues right now. Not what he wanted to start the season off. A little bit wide and wild as they get onto the power through turn 3. And once again, the different lines will converge as that's that Countryman pointed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, he was involved with that contact. Didn't affect him, but it did him a lap later. You can see Rick Huseman back there, battling there in that 136.
So we are going to see the comp caution next time by. That's the whoop section just catching a driver out. In the live pictures, there's close quarters action between some of the drivers still on the edge of the top 14, top 15. But at the front, Drake Mittag, Tyson Miller, and Keaton Swain have extended their gaps to one another, relatively comfortable as we get ready to slow the pace down. And your eyes don't deceive you. That is Connor Barry directly in front of the leader.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there as he came out of the pits there after serving it. Drake Mittag, I'm very impressed with that young man right now. And you can see Tyson Miller is looking for a solution to try and get up there. And I know Drake probably is going to want to say, well, can I get in front of him before that comp caution comes out? I think it's going to be highly unlikely at that point. But Keaton Swain, he slid back a little bit.
And so now we get the bit of a reset. Sean Winkler has also been given a black flag, I would assume, for the same infringement as Barry, and he's headed to pit lane to serve it. He at least has the benefit of the field being neutralized for the most part. And I've just opened up my history book to go back in time. Drake Mittag's first National Series win came earlier this year. Guess where? At the Firebird Motorsports Park.
Yep. He spent some time in karts here, that's for sure.
And this is such a unique track, I guess, as well. I already mentioned it once, but the fact that we started at a bull ring, it does mean that you are making friends and enemies along the way as we start off the season.
Let's get it right. Frenemies.
Frenemies, yes. And sometimes that can be your teammates as well.
Yeah, that is absolutely true right there. You can see them all stopped up there. And so was that black flag served beforehand, or does he have to serve it after the restart?
No, he has already served it. So Barry in 18th, Winkler in 19th. They've got some work to do as we get ready to go.
Ugh. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Drake Mittag is going to have a lot of footsteps behind him with, of course, the Terminator right behind him. And, of course, Keaton Swain, Edmonton. You know, Drapkin's right back up in the top 5, and you see Matthew Lindy. He's always a threat there. I'll tell you, Lindy's really coming to his own. Started really coming on at the end of the season in the Pro 4s. It's exciting to see him do well in the Pro 2s.
Joey Herbie is up 11 spots since the start of this race. How much further can he go? Keaton Swain into the back of Tyson Miller on the landing over the start-finish line, and now instantly, here comes Josh Edmondson trying to take advantage. He loves these Pro 2 machines, but he's not going to get the drive off the corner. Watch for Zachary Drapkin to try and shovel to the inside into turn 3.
Yeah, Drapkin was trying to tuck in behind Swain, but he got cut off there, of course, by Edmondson. Edmondson, a little bit of contact there as everybody fights their way through turn number 3. The only, right-hander we got. The rest of the time, we're turning left.
That was Scott Marek who had the big send to turn 3. Worked out for the most part. Barry's up to 16th. Not the marauding start he may have wanted to, grabbing 3-4 on lap 1, but he will be picking them off methodically. The last thing he wants to do is start to pick up race control penalties, because those penalty points could make a difference later on in the year. That is the best costume in the world of sim racing, and I think we are all Scott Marek fans here today.
Oh, absolutely. I need a poster on my wall now.
And
what I'm surprised right now is looking at Luke Knupp. He really has not gone backwards, but really hasn't gone too far forward.
No, and again, that's why I keep mentioning Joey Herbie, because it's clearly possible to make moves. He's not gained 11 spots on attrition. He's been fighting out there on track as well.
And the monkey still sitting up there right in front of Luke Knupp, too.
Clearly.
Costume on.
Yeah, and it gives you +5 on your defense if we were playing top trumps. 1 second is the lead for Drake Mittag. Well, we said that he likes Firebird, but he is really proving his point right now as Joey Herbie tries to close on the back of Luke Knupp. Matthew Lindy's all over the rear end of Zachary Drapkin, and the KES Industries machine slides its way through turn number 1, has to leave room on the exit, and great drive off the corner for Drapkin.
Yeah, Drapkin did use the wall that time. It's something we haven't been seeing a lot of the drivers doing. It paid off for him that time. It was a good time to do it. He was starting to get a little company there from Lindy, and Lindy's going to try and come back in. He's going to back off just a little bit through that preferred line, comes up there. And I'll tell you, these Pro 2s, I'm seeing a lot more unsettled coming off those little stutter, the double bumps.
The whoops, as I call them, because I have no idea what the technical term for them is.
It's a short whoop.
Scott
whoop.
Scott Marek gets pushed out wide, more by mental pressure as Luke Knupp makes the move. And in fact, now he made his way back to pit lane. So we'll see if there was a technical issue or maybe something more significant for him. Meanwhile, Josh Edmondson trying to close on Keaton Swain. Yeah, this is just Marek pulling to the side of the track with no real warning.
Not sure what happened. Didn't see any smoke, no blown motor.
That one's a weird one.
Do you remember to put gas in it?
Well, you joke, but it very well could be that he put in a setup that didn't have enough fuel as here comes Drapkin trying to fight his way back in the red line, all 56. He shoves his way through the midpoint of the corner, but Lindy's left on the inside, down the hill, over the jump.
And it looks like the over-under going around there. Nice move by Drapkin, but Lindy's going to go nose to nose. Lindy gets a little unsettled there. Drapkin goes high, tries to use a little slingshot. Again, going for the inside. He's going to be in a nice setup this time. He's going to be able to push Lindy a little wide on this turn 1, I think. Yep.
We are getting a message that a couple of the drivers have been breaking their right front suspension from the landing just after the jump. There's a dirt wall on the outside. You clip it, it seems to be doing a bit more damage than some of these drivers were expecting, and that explains why I think Crystal King, Scott Marek, Dennis Mickelson are all sitting in pit lane. This is a great fight, all as your leaders run away. Connor Barry is made his way up into the top 10. He's doing exactly what he needed to.
Yeah, he just got by Rick Huseman there, but I'm watching the battle between Lindy, it was like, and Drapkin. Drapkin running that wall, and you talked about it. This time he stayed off of it. A lot of broken suspension there. Lindy's been smart to stay away from it because I think that's going to bite a few more drivers, like you mentioned.
These are long races, 26 laps. They fly on by when the lap times are 36 seconds, but it's brutal. Even without the physical G-forces back and forth, Herbie and Knupp go. I think we're going to be interested to see if Knupp finds a bit more speed later on in the season. By no means is he slow in these Pro 2 machines. He's grabbed 2 wins in the Pro 2 National Series in the past, but just struggling right now. Not an easy start to his campaign as he slips up the inside, tries the slide job, but Herbie's back up the inside.
Yeah, I think that slide job's a little too much speed off him there.
Maybe a
bunch of boozy jerky in there to get by him.
Maybe the frustration of not having any boozy jerky is also playing its part right now. 4 laps to go next time by. I think the best that Connor Barry can really hope for is to pass Trenton Briley, unless Knupp and Herbie continue to go back and forth so much, lose each other time like that, that Barry suddenly ends up in the mix and could have a sniff of 7th.
Yeah, it looks like a sniff of 7th actually just happened for Luke Knupp, finally able to get by Joey Herbie. Been battling those positions. Now you can see right now that Briley and Barry are battling it out.
Trenton Briley, who finished 8th in the Pro 4 National Series, starting off with a top 10 run if he can hold station, avoid any issues with Barry. Barry's carrying the red number boards as our playoff leader with 5 wins. Has given him a nice healthy buffer to the rest of the field. He will switch back underneath of Briley if he can, headed off to turn number 1, but you can just see how much more in control they have to be, how much smoother they're having to be. And Barry not trying to force the issue here, being very respectful with 3 laps to play.
Yeah, he knows. It's like, he's already gotten 1 black flag. You don't need another one there. You got to be clean, and another ones that set the rules. So you got to lead by example, and that's what he's doing.
Got a little bit offline there as they made contact mid-air, bringing in Sean Winkler slightly through all of this. Oh, not a great landing. Some fiberglass almost ripped off the front as Briley runs in front of Connor Barry, and Winkler gets even closer at the front of the field, though 2 laps left to go, and it's 2 seconds that Drake Mittag's got to those behind him.
Notice when you're going through that the little single section there, you're on the outside, the inside line coming. You go from the inside to the outside. They're not getting enough momentum, and it's really unsettling the trucks there. So watch them come around here. Ignore
the bit of hoarding that seems to have now been ripped off the side of the track and brought into the middle. Out wide. You can see there is a second racing line that has been developed, but Trenton Briley cannot take advantage. Sean Winkler up in front now.
Yeah, it looks like Connor is making his way forward all the way up to 9th place. Winkler up to 10th. Riley back to 11th. But the story, I think, right now is that young man right there, the number 4, Drake Matag. He doesn't even have anybody close to him at this point.
He broke through at Firebird. He broke through in the Pro 4s at Firebird. He'll win in the Pro 2s to start the season off. But the job's not done. One more main event still left to win.
You know the old smile they say, the cat that ate the canary? I love that smirk he just got. He's like, yeah, baby.
Bit of mischief on the face of Drake Mittag. And not just his second win this year. He won a single race in the regional series as well. He is starting to tick off all the boxes, and 2.6 seconds the gap between his Impact SimSport number 4 and the Terminator behind. Good day for Factory SimSport in the team championship, but with Josh Edmondson in 4th, Zachary Drapkin in 5th. Big margins through the field with a 12-lap restart, I believe, if I've done my math right, after the comp caution. Lindy Knupp, Herbie, Barry, and Winkler. The rest of the top 10, as both Barry and Winkler recover after the black flags given to them by iRacing. 11th for Briley, 12th for Rick Hoosman, with Robbie Swan, Thad Countryman, TJ Staver, Crystal King, Scott Marek, Taylor Vandenbush, Dennis Mickelson, and Cody Winnicki. The rest of the machines 16th on back, not even seeing the last 6 laps of the race. So a fair bit of attrition, Dave, in our first race of the season.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see a lot of this shook out there. Some of the drivers we thought were going to be up front weren't quite, and some drivers that are solid are right there, you know. Not surprised at all when it comes to it, but they got to do it again. Can Drake Matag do it again? Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and find out.
And we were talking about the track conditions continuing to evolve. Well, the quirk of this new system, the new format with the dual main events that we're running tonight, does mean, Dave, we've got a brand new session going up now, which could mean the track gets totally reset. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Well, we saw that second race line you talked about starting to develop. I mean, if it's reset, that's going to change up a little bit of the strategy. Some of these drivers are going to have to rethink them.
Well, let's
look at that. Oh, the wall ride.
Let's celebrate with our race winner opening up the season. Drake Mittag standing by with our own Dave Arnold.
Drake Matag, how about that? Getting the first race of the year, the monkeys off your back, the smile on your face says it all, my friend.
Yeah, I'm ready for the night to end right now, and leave it at that.
I'm done. Just walk away. Drop the mic.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, I was going to ask a little bit there as we saw the race lines starting to change up there. You know, we just saw you running up against the wall. Then you started changing the way your lines. Then the final turn, another lane started to develop. Then you started walking away at that point.
Yeah, track definitely changed a lot. And I don't think my setup's quite there. I mean, who knows? I was able to pull a gap on some of the fastest people, you know, in this side of iRacing. And hopefully that's the case. But thankfully, there's the track reset. So we'll get a fresh track into the second main, and I actually just pulled a number 8 out of the invert bag, and got some passes to make to get this overall for sure.
Definitely a little charged up after watching all the racing going on last weekend at Glen Helen.
Yeah, that was definitely sweet. I need to come back.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go get back in the sim, right?
Yep.
But congratulations on that, and we're excited to see how you're going to do it now with an 8 invert. It's going to change your strategies a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You just got to be really smart. This is definitely a very tough track, a very contact track, and to make it to the end, you got to be really smart. So we'll see.
All right. Well, Drake Matag, good luck. Winner coming out of the first race.
And with that news that the invert for the second main event is 8th, Dave, our pole sitter, started at the back in main event number 1. Joey Herbie will lead us to green at the start of the second main event of the season.
And I'll tell you, Herbie was a tough guy to pass as we're watching that race. I think this is going to be real interesting. The Boozy Jerky Machine definitely got real wide through some of those turns. He was a tough one out there for sure. Elbows out.
Alongside him will be Luke Knupp, so this is an opportunity for him. If we see him slide backwards, it will tell us a little bit about where we think the season's going to go. On the other side of that equation, 9th position, 1 spot away from the invert. it was Connor Barry.
Oof. That was a tough one. I mean, fighting all the way back to one spot away from that inversion from the black flag. Very impressive by him, but very disappointed. I'm sure he's feeling he's going to really have his work cut out to him. Because we saw Luke back there in 7th and 8th for a while fighting his way around. So I can imagine being a 9th for Connor. He got up there, but he got to that point where there's a lot of talent up front and it's tough to pass.
Time for us to plug into the new session. We'll be right back here on the iRacing Short Course channels on RaceSpotTV with main event 2 of the night for the iRacing Short Course Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR.
You want to know what's going on in your dirt sports world? Whether it's 4 wheels, 2 wheels, Dirt Sports World's got you covered. From the dirt to the dunes, we bring you the latest action in racing to lifestyle, the newest parts, the newest vehicles, and what the superstars of off-road are up to. Check out our social media for up-to-date information on Instagram, Facebook, Dirt Sports World, and more in depth. And check out the magazine at www.dirtsportsworld.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Dirt Sports World, for some great videos. So make sure to follow us and come get dirty with us.
I told y'all, we got the game on lock. Crank Lucas the rap deucer. Team Real Racing. Y'all already know we won. Off-road racing, quickest in the desert. To the finish line, passing through the checkers. It's Team Real, we just much better. When we on the track, we apply that pressure. People lined up screaming from the sideline. When they see the UT class fly by, or they see me in the truck doing drive-bys, in the Parker Dam or in the Baja. Every time you see me rolling through inside a buggy, and I'm counting up the money, cause I came to multiply it. Push a 1200 horsepower in the motor, you don't really wanna race me, I dare you to try it. Started up the engine, now my wheels on fire. Zooming through the track while I'm burning up the rubber. Better get them slow waves out of my water. You don't wanna see the shark or there's a crusher. It's Team Real, y'all know what the biz. Crank Lucas, and I'm spinning on the wheel. Doing 160, pass you so fast when the wind hits your body, get the chills. Telling everybody they can eat my dust, but I guarantee you won't beat my best. Popping champagne when I'm at the finish line and I'm holding up the trophy and I beat my chest. What first place look like it's me? I don't do twos and I never met a three. People know the Team Real logo when I'm running through the desert and I'm running all through the streets. Never have to cap my race game tight. My vehicles can go all night. Foot up on the gas, I can never brake right because I'm allergic to all the red lights. Team Real, Team Real. Everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team Real, Team Real. All about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team real, real scared money don't make no money. It's team real, hit them on the rumble and the tires burning from the rubble. Team real, everybody thinking that they faster till they gotta race. Team real, all about the speed and you can see it all up in my face. Team real scared money don't make no money. It's team real, hit them on the rumble and the tires burning from the rubble.
So much to look forward to, including crowning our very first short course National Series World Champion. First up, it's the three-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. Barry getting quite comfortable in victory lane.
First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series. Take a bow, Drake Mittag. Matt Adams is winner 22. He does it in the signature Propellers Long Beach Surfside Showdown. Keaton Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish.
He finally got it. Swain, pop the champagne, baby.
And while Luke Canutt's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet.
Her first win in the National Series through Calamity Corner. Crystal King gets it done.
Welcome back along to the Firebird Motorsports Park as we get set for main event number 2 in the 2025 iRacing Short Course Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. Arjuna Kankipati alongside of the voice of off-road, Dave Arnold, as we dive into another 26-lap race after seeing Drake Mittag grab the checkered flag in the first main event of the season, Dave.
Oh, man, this is going to be a definite fight for him all the way in the middle of the pack now. Connor Barry is going to be right back there trying to chase him down. But Luke Canutt, we talked about him a little bit. Now he's up front, and he's going to be battling up there. But you also got Joey Herbie. Surprise, surprise.
And he'll be swinging those guns on the start to hold off Luke Canutt. Matthew Lindy, Zachary Drapkin, they'll line up right behind with Edmondson and Swain 5th and 6th. The invert of the top 8 sees Tyson Miller and Drake Mittag sent back to row number 4, while Connor Barry fought his way back up to 9th after a penalty dropped him to the tail end of the field. He's got Sean Winkler for company on the edge of the top 10. Trenton Briley and Rick Husman row 6th, 13th, and hopefully not unlucky 13 for Robbie Swan, TJ Staver, Thad Countryman, Crystal King, Scott Barrett, Taylor Vandenbush, and then at the back of the field, Dennis Mickelson and Cody Winnicki, who does rejoin us after his technical issues in main event number 1. Comp caution at the end of lap 12, but most importantly, Dave, a fresh track, and we heard from Drake, he wasn't sure how his truck was faring as the track continued to slick over.
And I'll tell you, though, the way the track deteriorated down for him, it actually paid off for him. You got to be curious with this new setup, on the track, how it's going to do. It's going to be very curious. A lot of these guys, I don't know if they knew they were going to be running the same race they qualified on.
Going to be curious to see if some of these drivers have built second race setups effectively for this fresh track. Off and away goes the pace truck, and it's Joey Herbie alongside of Luke Canutt on the front row. 26 more laps thrown onto the board and ready for the second of our main events in the Pro 2 National Series in 2025. We are off and away, and will there be some challenges to turn 1? A bit of contact sends Matthew Lindy's rear end sideways. 3 wide off the corner. In the middle of the sandwich is Josh Edmondson, but Keaton Swain has rocketed up the inside to 4th in the blink of an eye as up and over goes 1.
Yeah, definitely. I saw Drapkin. He went and used that wall once again. He's battling there with Lindy, you talked about just now. Edmondson draws back a position and then fights door to door there with Lindy. Edmondson got that 4th position, and then now up to 3rd. Look at Keaton Swain and him going back and forth on this one as they fight. But Knupp, he's got the breathing room. He's got the clean air. He's got his sights set on no one in front of him.
He took advantage of a little bobble from Herbie through 3 and made the move behind. They stack up. It's sideways for Zachary Drapkin, who effectively backed into the corner, and now has Connor Barry making the move on him. Up to 7th is our Pro 4 National Series champion as you watch them through 3 down the bottom of the hill, beginning to climb up into those mini whoops once again. Barry into the side of the KES Industries machine. That's Matthew Lindy, and that's one for race control to take a look at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think Lindy got sideways and pretty much was, when the contact happened, that looked like a racing incident to me.
It was Tyson Miller, the truck, that did the flip at turn 2, and so from starting on pole to being at the tail end, from the highs and lows of motorsport, the Terminator's seeing it all today. Here's a look at Barry making that contact with the side of Lindy.
Yeah, see, Lindy was already, losing his rear end coming around. And you know what? Tyson Miller, you know what the Terminator said? I'll be back.
And that's exactly what he has said, because he's back onto track and trying to salvage something from this race. Barry up the inside of Joey Herbie, who's now being shuffled down into 6th spot. The champ makes that move work. And Luke Knupp has not broken away by any means. Drake Mittag's hounding Josh Edmondson for 3rd. But at the front of the field, Luke Knupp is feeling the pressure from Keaton Swain. There's Tyson Miller going up and over.
Yeah, it looks like he just got on the bicycle there and just brought it all the way over. Now, I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room right now. Drake Mittag, already up to 4th place right now. I know there's a big gap as we watch the battle between Keaton Swain and Edmondson continue here. But, I'm sorry, Keaton Swain and Luke Knupp are battling.
Edmondson shuffled out wide. Mittag was the one that initiated the contact, and Barry picks up the pieces. It's the 2 for 1, but now fight back from main event 1 winner. Down the hill they go, and these are potentially the 2 championship favorites based on their speed here tonight. Mittag still got the inside. Will he hold on to 3rd?
Yeah, he's going to come around. Very good momentum coming around, and Connor Barry's going to settle in right behind him. You can see Edmondson and Drapkin. As you can see, a good run by Connor Barry as he's trying to get his sights set again on Drake Mittag. It's all about getting that setup as we go on board with Josh Edmondson right now, currently sitting in that 5th position. You can watch all the battles in front of him.
Luke Knupp and Keaton Swain are starting to catch Tyson Miller, by the way, who is technically, yes, already a lap down, but he's got the speed to hold on, so could put your leader under pressure as here we go through the final quarter. 6 laps about to be complete, halfway towards the comp caution, and Swain's alongside in the Sim Coaches Factory Sim Sport 21. He tries the slider, but he's not got the room to clear. Knupp holds on.
And they definitely both used the wall in that time, though unfortunately we saw a couple of the drivers having suspension damage from hitting a lot of those hard bumps. I think that's something they got to start thinking about there with the new model you talked about. Back on board with Luke Knupp as we continue to watch him. You can see that rear camera as you see Keaton Swain just working all over the rear end. He's on his back porch looking to kick that back door and trespass.
The left fiberglass already shaking, and Keaton Swain almost dislodging it through the final corner. They are running each other close. Now, was that Swain just trying to set up a bit more momentum to 2? It's not going to work out as we near the end of lap 12 and that comp caution. Drake Mittag and Connor Barry aren't closing that quickly. Last lap it was a couple of tenths they closed, but I think what we are going to be in for, with Knupp showing that he's got the ability to defend right now, is when Mittag and Barry are stacked up behind them at that competition caution, we are in for a 4-way tussle at the front of the field.
Yeah, definitely. You see Luke Knupp got a little out of shape there, and I think that's scribbled a little speed. Keaton Swain looking again to the inside. They're going to run it up against the wall. A little bit of contact, shoving them wide there. And Keaton Swain, the contact continues as the tail, they're getting the alligator tail out there.
Yeah, now that was maybe a bit more on the line, but again, Robbins Racing, I guess.
Yeah, we'll talk the gray area.
If you know the rules of engagement, you can always find that balance. And I think Keaton was able to find the balance somewhat perfectly. And now the floodgates may be open. Let's see, with just 3 laps to go as they cross the line once again, how big a lead can Swain build up before we slow things down?
I don't think he's going to really run away with this. I know Luke Canet probably, okay, let me just settle in here. If I get him, he makes a mistake, it'll be good. But the restart, the comp caution, the re-rack, the restack, the refire, it's all within these drivers' heads right now. Keaton Swain's definitely the one with the bullseye on his back. He's the one that's going to be the most nervous, like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
And I think Canuck just showing his lack of efficiency relative to Swain, who's just being a lot smoother with the driving style right now. We might end up seeing Mittag and Barry go back at it with 2 laps left to go before the comp caution. Because if I'm either one of those drivers, I want to be in third. I want to be as high up as possible before we restart.
Oh, yeah, Connor's going to definitely try to make some moves on Jake Mittag right now, but Mittag looking very smooth out there. He's got the momentum. He has the win under his belt. He's got the confidence right now. Luke Canuck, though, he's got to worry about, Mittag, but he's also got to keep his eyes set on Swain and not really get him away. If you let him get away now, it's going to get in your head and you not restart. You got to have all your faculties together.
Edmondson, Drapkin, Herbie, Winkler, Swan, and Briley, the rest of the top 10. Matthew Lindy has made his way to pit lane. I'm not sure what issue has just befallen him. Cody Winicki is shown as stopped on track as well. So there is a decent amount of attrition once again. Scott Marek's in 1 lap down. Matthew Lindy sitting in pit lane. Tyson Miller will get his lap back with the way that he has fought to stay in front of the leaders as they will cross the line, end lap 12. And we reset the gaps between the drivers. It's the comp caution in main event 2.
Yeah, you can see definitely that Barry has really changed his lineup as he went around that corner, went real high and wide. He knew the comp caution was coming back. He's like, let's see what this line can do for me. A lot of these drivers will try little things to feel what they can do. We go on board again with Taylor Vandenbush as he's getting ready to come around for his setup as he hits the wall. Oh, now, my goodness, the replay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'd actually broken the right front on the landing initially, and that then sent him straight into the wall, but that car in pit lane and not moving anytime soon, joining TJ Staver potentially in being out of this race.
Yeah, Vandenbush is definitely out now. Staver's, Lindy still in pits there. A lot of damage to Lindy if it's taken this long.
And, Cody Winicki has a hardware failure. His wheel is just left-hand down. Yeah, that did not look normal. He has been having a rough start to the season, and it doesn't look like it's necessarily his fault, although he's still on the lead lap, so showing some grit and determination to salvage something from the day. Scott Marek will get the lap back. Tyson Miller's on the lead lap once again, and so we are restacking the field with 17 trucks still at play on the lead lap.
You got to give it to Tyson Miller, though. I mean, he was a lap down, or not quite a lap down. He was in front of our leaders, and he was actually starting to pull away a little bit.
Well, he was a full lap down. He was trying to avoid going 2 laps down.
Oh, that's right, because he went to the pits. I'm sorry.
Exactly. So he got very lucky. That his damage didn't take that long to reset or whatever. He was able to leave pit lane in time, and then had the speed. I think we would surely be getting ready to go once again. Matthew Lindy has just said that his right front hasn't repaired properly, so that might not be him done with the repair job in pit lane. What are you expecting on this restart, Dave? Swain, Canuck, Mittag, Barry, the top 4.
We're going to see Mittag and Barry really go at it and split away. Everybody's going to be diving low, and everybody else. I think our leaders are going to use the momentum, go against the wall. I think Mittag and Barry are going to go a little bit lower and try and keep that momentum to get the drive out of turn 1. Going to come down to turn number 2, though. Arjuno, I think turn 2 is always going to bring the excitement on the first lap.
That is the restart. That is the place, right? Because turn 1's a fast sweeping left-hander, and then you get onto the brakes for the first time really into 2.
And you're going to want to be down low because everybody's using everybody else as kind of a berm. If you're in that middle line, you're not low. You could use everybody else to kind of hold you from going out and sliding out, carry a little more speed, and door-to-door contact is welcome.
So the cars the cars, the trucks. First time I made that mistake this season, hopefully the last. The trucks get rolling, and there's a look at Connor Barry. What a fight back from the back of the field halfway through main event 1. Still with a chance of victory now as 17 trucks roll off and away, except for Cody Winicki, who is just taking a tow back to pit lane. I think those technical issues really ruining the night for him. But
man, look at Matthew Lindy still in the pits.
yeah, that the right front not repairing itself. We are ready to go once again, and what a jump for Keaton Swain. Will he be able to break away and grab a victory in these Pro 2s after he ended the draw in the Pro 4s earlier this year? Off the wall, Barry not alongside of Mittag to turn 2.
Yeah, so we went a little bit deeper into that turn there. You see, not as close as I thought it was going to be on that restart, but still got a lot of laps here.
Edmondson almost tags the back of his teammate Connor Barry in the pair of Channel 199 track racer entries. End of the first lap after the restart, and Luke Knupp instantly under pressure now from Drake Mittag. Turn 4 seems to be the place where Knupp's losing the most time, and we ride with Barry. You can see the contact in front. It slowed Mittag down. It slowed Knupp down as well. He's dropped to 4th, and now Edmondson will be looking and setting things up, but there's the fight back from Knupp.
Yeah, Knupp is doing. You can see Barry didn't go as deep into that turn 1, kept a little bit lower, and he was able to do that pass on it. You see again a little bit of contact there, Knupp and Barry as they battle.
Oh, big drama for the likes of Robbie Swan, Rick Huseman, and I think for Scott Marek. You can see Crystal King stumbling through the scene of the incident as well. Back at the front of the field, there will be 10 laps to go next time by, and every one of these laps is going to count. If Mittag and Barry get caught up in a fight amongst their own, well, Keaton Swain will wave goodbye, biggest smile on the face of anybody, and on his way to victory lane once again.
Yeah, he's hoping that Mittag and Barry will continue to battle there. You know, it's a tough one. When you got somebody in front of you, you're trying to chase them down, then you got somebody behind you, you got to protect, but you also want to have the fast lines.
I do feel like, and this is just the opinion of someone who usually sits in the booth rather than drives, these Pro 2s are better than the Pro 4s at the end of the day. Oh, there's a stack up through 3.
Yeah, you can see him going and hitting that K-rail there. Is that Robbie Swan there?
Yeah, I think Swan. That was where King got mixed up. Scott Marek, Trenton Briley, Rick Huseman, Joey Herby as well. A whole smorgasbord of drivers involved.
Yeah, the scene of the crime.
So,
first time those K-rails have bitten people.
And not the last by any means as well. So Swain's lost a bit of ground. Last time by, he pulled about 1/10 of a second, but this time he's lost half 1/10 of a second. We're talking fine margins, and for some reason, we've just cycled on to the final lap of the race. So, I'm not exactly sure why, but what was meant to be a 26-lap sprint has transferred into an 18-lap main event. Keaton Swain's got half a second back to Mittag and Barry, who will be thinking about defending through the last corner like a lion. Keaton Swain will win once again in the iRacing Short Course National Series, but this time in the Pro 2s. Drake Mittag and Connor Barry will grab 2nd and 3rd position, but there's some confusion in the air as Swain grabs the checkered flag.
Well, the drought didn't come this time for Keaton Swain. He's a little worried about going in the first race there, but out. Looks like we're still racing.
Might actually be the white flag this time by, so maybe our graphics rolled the white flag too early. Should we cue up my audio of a lap ago? Potentially. Out of the final corner, will it be the checkered flag this time by? Keaton Swain ended a 1,000-day draw in the Pro 4s earlier this year. It's a lot shorter of a wait this time by. As no, we are still racing, so maybe we are still getting the full 26 laps and our graphics package has gone crazy.
Well, you know, it's a computer. What can I say?
We'll turn it off and on again at the end of the day. Right, so that does mean we should be on the 20th lap of 26.
Yeah, so we got about 6 more laps to go. Let's see. Maybe 5, maybe 4. But look at this battle still going on with Drake Mittag. Now, Luke Knupp has really fallen off there. He's battling back there with Zach Drapkin. You know, that's the battle for 4th there as we continue to watch the battle for 2nd. Connor Berry is just looking for an answer for Drake, but Drake is just looking so smooth in that custom off-road designs, the COD machine, the CBR machine behind him. I bet you they all got CBR radiators in them, though.
You'd hope so for performance reasons at the very least. Swain still holding that advantage. I think Mittag is having to drive defensively enough to cover off Connor Barry that he's not able to make the gains, the inroads on Swain he might be able to do. But that mistake from Barry could now open the door for that gap to close as we cross the line and we're on to the 22nd lap of 26.
And I do believe, though, you know, Keaton's not really running away from this. You know, Drake's still keeping it down there. He's got Connor's rearview mirror. He's got a little bit of gap on Connor now, not so much close, you know, where we saw him having contact battling through turn 2.
Looking further behind.
I was going to say, he's not in cruise control.
Definitely not. Looking further behind. Luke Knupp definitely not in cruise control now because Zachary Drapkin increasingly putting the pressure on. Remember Josh Edmondson, we talked about how much he likes these two-wheel drive machines. In the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series, the former World Championship they used to run, Josh Edmondson won the All-Star race they had in the Pro 2s, so maybe not have had all the success he wanted in the Pro 4s, but we know just how quick he can be, as Luke Knupp still looking like the pressure is building. And the small little differences, Dave, they all add up in this machine when you're putting all the power down through the rear wheels.
You can't make, I mean, they're talking about little mistakes there. Knupp with a mistake there. Drapkin, he's going to go up to that 4th position there. But I think it's a little bit more forgiving in a Pro 4 to a Pro 2. Oh, big contact there. Edmondson just basically fed a door to Knupp, but I think Knupp turned into him.
Had enough of waiting behind, I think, was what was happening there, as Dennis Mickelson alongside of Joey Herbie as they rise up turn 2. Both in boozy jerky colors. I believe it's Herbie now on the outside, Mickelson down low as they shuffle through. We will have 2 laps to go when the leaders cross the line, which they have just done now. As all sorts of out of shape, Joey Herbie loses some spots.
Yeah, talk about that, kind of getting these drivers get out of shape quite a bit, is those 2 little stutter bumps, the little single.
Here's another look at it.
Yeah.
He basically lands as he's about to take off as well, which is always the worst because you don't really have time to correct anything. 1 more lap to go this time by. It will actually be the white flag in this 26 lap race, and Keaton Swain has got the advantage that he needs. Enough clean air behind as he looks set to win once again.
Well, it's a good run there. Everybody running that wall. I'm so worried now about when they hit these walls, the damage modeling we talked about. We saw a couple of other drivers lose their suspension already.
That will be something I'm going to be curious about going to Wild West as well. We'll end the season at Crandon as all seasons should. But we've got some fun on the way, that is for sure. Up front and ready to be victorious once again. A 1,000-day drought ended in the Pro 4s. 168 days later, Keaton Swain wins again in the iRacing National Series, but this time in the Pro 2s, dominant at the front.
Yeah, definitely a great finish there. Drake Mittag with a 1st and a 2nd there. Connor Berry, unfortunately, the race 1, not the race he wanted, but coming out swinging in that 3rd position. You see Robbie Swain and Crystal King going to finish it up.
14th and 15th positions respectively. I think the happiest driver on the day might actually be Drake Mittag, given the double podium, 1st and 2nd. Does not get much better than that, but it's going to be a happy Keaton Swain winning once again and a full 2nd clear of the Impact SimSport number 4 that was chasing him down. Barry in 3rd, at least salvages some more points on the day with Zachary Drapkin, Josh Edmondson, Sean Winkler, and then Luke Knupp down in 7th. Thad Countryman, Tyson Miller, and Dennis Mickelson make up your top 10, with Scott Marek fighting his way back to 11th after being 1 lap down in the early stages. Rick Hoosman, Joey Herbie, and then Crystal King and Robbie Swan before the used truck lot. Trenton Briley, Cody Winicki, Matthew Lindy, TJ Staver, and Taylor Vanden Bush. Well, we had a chat with Drake Mittag slightly earlier on, winner in the first of the main events, but now it's Keaton Swain standing by with Dave Arnold.
Keaton Swain, congratulations. A big win for you here. We know we talked about, I know you got sick of us talking about your drought, but you came out swinging here in the Pro 2 category. Not quite the finish you wanted in race 1, but race number 2 on top.
Yeah, it feels good. Now we don't have to talk about winless streak here for a little bit, hopefully. But yeah, we had a really good run in the second race. Made a couple nice moves early to get up to third, and then got up to second and was able to pass Luke before the mandatory, which was my goal. I thought if I could get to P1 before the mandatory, I'd have a good shot. But yeah, we overall, a first and a third is a great way to start the season.
Yeah, definitely a good one. Now, Arjuno and I were talking about how you guys qualified. Then they had the LCQs, and then your race, the track deteriorated. Race number 2, a fresh track. Was there another setup you had to do or setup there, or did you just go, I'm just throwing my cards on the table?
Yeah, I ran the same one in race 1 and race 2, but it's really tricky with 26 laps. I haven't really done a 26-lap race in the Pro 2 with 20 trucks on the track. So it's very hairy through the whip section every lap. You kind of tense up, hoping that thing don't buck on you. But obviously we're able to hold on. But yeah, it gets a little hectic out there with all the trucks and just the track deteriorating. It really can buck the truck and send you one way or the other.
As we saw a lot of the drivers that got spun around and did the huck and buck there, and that was definitely there. But we noticed that a couple race lines started to develop there. Were you getting a little nervous there with Matag, or you realized that Matag and Barry were pretty much concentrating on each other?
Well, I had my relative up and was keeping an eye on them, but I knew, Drake and Connor have been working together, and I know they got great late race speed, and that's been something I've lacked over the course of the handful of years here. But that's mostly in the Pro 4s. I don't know what's different in the Pro 2, but I was trying to find some different lines that were working, and I was just keeping an eye on my relative, make sure Drake wasn't getting too close, and I think we kept it relatively the same there after he got into second. So something to build on there, that they weren't catching me. That's a good confidence booster for my late race stuff.
Well, confidence booster is for sure here heading into this new season, and Pro 2 is a whole nother animal for you. I know you've raced the buggies, you've raced the Pro Lights, and a big difference, driving a 2-wheel drive versus the 4-wheel drive. Yeah,
definitely. The Pro 2 and the Sim is the most fun to drive to me. It takes a lot more, I guess it's more technical to drive. You got to be smooth on the throttle, smooth with the steering wheel. You don't got the 4 wheels pulling you out. So I enjoy it more. You got to be more precise. I think it fits my driving style a little bit more in the Pro 2.
Well, we're looking to see how this season unfolds for all of you, especially you now that the monkey's off your back. And I know you got a lot of great people that make this happen for you.
Yeah, I got to thank everyone at Sim Coaches, always helping me out. Everyone on my team at Factory Sim Sport, we're putting in the laps, fine-tuning these setups, try and get better each week. But, everyone else that helps out Connor's league, all his staff, and of course you guys for making us look good out there on the track.
Right on. Keaton Swain, big winner here in race number 2 with a third and a first at the top of the box.
And he grabbed second in the combined points from main events 1 and 2, but with a first and a second, it's Drake Mittag that's at the top of those combined race standings. Drake, congratulations. A great opening start to the season. Did you expect this sort of performance rolling out to kick off 5 rounds in this championship?
Honestly, in the back of my mind, I kind of did. I put in a lot of work for this one. And but you never really know until it's race night. Everyone could load into a session and times be different the next day. So, I'm definitely pumped. That first race was killer. I stayed smart, got to the end, put a gap on the rest of the field. And then that second race, things got a little physical, and there's some spots I wish I didn't touch people when I did, but it is what it is. I had no speed left at the end, to say the least, especially not with Connor on your rear bumper. Trust me, it does not make you go faster. It makes you get sketchy out there.
How much did the track reset help, but also, I guess, kind of make things more difficult as you were working through it? Really thought it was interesting what Keaton just told us. He's never really done a 26-lap race with 20 trucks in these Pro 2s before.
Yeah, you can prep for it all you want, but there's no way you're getting this many trucks in one session to practice a race like that. Like me and Channel 199 and Connor and Josh and all them, we did 26 lap races, but there was about 4 or 5 of us. So there's definitely no comparison till you're here. You can't really set up for it. You just gotta hope that your setup feels good in the worn track. It was definitely gnarly. The whole first half, you're like just focusing on making it through, and then the second half, you're like, all right, I got to go fast, and I could not go fast in that second half. Props to Keaton, he had a rocket ship.
Well, I know there's a lot of people behind the scenes that make all this possible. Who have you got to thank for this great result to open the season up?
Impact Sim Sport and all the boys over at like Channel 199 and Racecraft Academy. We all put in the work for sure, and this definitely is a way to start the season.
Congrats on the great performance. We'll see you next week as we head off to Bark River.
See you guys.
And last but not least, let's catch up with Zachary Drapkin, who with a 5th and a 4th should be 3rd on our combined event standing. Zach, I mean, it seemed like an interesting night for you to be able to stay inside of that top 5, but it did seem like it was a physical fight to say the least.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a race. To be honest, both of them. Just my whole goal in the Pro 2 series, I know I'm not as fast as everybody, but just got to be consistent, be there when it matters, and to stay in the top 5 in both races. I was stoked. I didn't even know I was gonna be on the podium, so this is like the first podium in like 3 years, so I'm stoked.
Pro 2s versus Pro 4s. Which one do you prefer?
You're gonna put me in a Pro 2 versus a Pro 4, or do you want me? Are we doing like race to race, or are we talking like, do I choose Pro 2 or would I pick a Pro 4?
I love all those questions, but just the last one.
I think probably, to be honest, I love the Pro 2. It's so much flow, especially at Crandon. You kind of can just flow through the corners. You just let the wheel go and the wheels go back and forth. So honestly, I love the Pro 2, but there's just, yeah, Pro 2 over Pro 4 any day.
Yeah. That's good to hear. Obviously, we've got some interesting races coming up, and I've got to ask you about Watkins Glen. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Or are you apprehensive about what it will bring?
I'm going to be a wrecking ball on the road course.
Setting the expectations clearly.
I gotta talk to my Racecraft Academy team, because those guys know how to do the road course, and that is not my specialty. I don't even know. Is that the next race? I bet you it is, right?
No, you've got Bark River first.
Oh, thank God! So I got a little bit of time to practice.
Yeah, not much. It's 2 weeks away. But Zach, congrats on the great effort. We'll see you next week as we head to the rolling hills of Michigan.
Thanks, guys. I do got to thank a couple people though that backed my truck for this whole Pro 2 season. It's a blessing to be able to run for them. Redline Oil, Signature Propellers, Competitive Edge Performance, Weddle Industries, Racecraft Academy, Sean, Josh, Cody, and Robbie. Those guys are awesome to work with. Connor and Drake are on different separate teams, and we're all working together to really put these trucks where they need to be. Like if you look at the podium in the top 10, it's Drake, Connor, me, Josh, Sean, and then the list goes on of the Academy group and everybody together. And Side Pros, McMullen Racing, Skydive Elsinore, Down South Motorsports, and iBlock. And really, you guys are putting on a good stream, and I can't wait to watch it. And thanks for being here.
Racecraft Academy delivering with the media training as well. Thanks for joining us, Zach, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. In 1 week's time, as we make our way over to Bark River. And what a way, Dave, to start our season off.
Oh, such a great racer, and glad to see his bed was made too. So, but I'm looking forward to Bark River, always a historic track to race at, and man, I can't wait for Watkins Glen in 3 weeks. But what a great race tonight! What a way to kick off the season! And kudos to all the drivers. You guys just did an incredible job.
And 2 very happy drivers heading off to Bark River, where you can join us on October 8th. All the same channels, the short course channels on YouTube and Facebook, and of course on the RaceSpotTV YouTube as well. But for Dave Arnold, alongside myself, Arjuna Kankipati, Hugo Luis on the production duties. What an electric way to open up the iRacing Short Course Pro 2 National Series presented by CBR. We'll see you next week to continue the jumpy action. So much to look forward to
including crowning our very first short course National Series World Champion. First up, it's the 3-time king starting off on top. It's win 17 for Connor Barry. Barry getting quite comfortable in victory lane.
First-time winner in the iRacing Short Course National Series. Take a bow, Drake Mittag. Matt Adams is winner 22. He does it in the signature Propellers Long Beach Surfside Showdown. Keaton Swain's not going to stand down. To the line, a photo finish.
He finally got it. Swain, pop the champagne, baby.
And while Luke Canuck's yet to taste success in 2025, it's going to be a taste that's oh so sweet.
Her first win in the National Series through Calamity Corner. Crystal King gets it done.